Welcome back, everybody. This is Randy White, Unwired Appalachia podcast. We used to do this all the time. This is the second week in a row. We're bringing it back, hopefully on a weekly basis. I got with me today a very special guest, UPike men's basketball coach Tigh Compton. Tigh, welcome to the show. I guess just kind of talk about your time at UPike and how you've seen the program grow since you've taken over a head coach. I mean, you've been with Kelly for a long time. You've seen the national championship. You've got this program really steady right now. I mean, seems like 3 years in a row you guys made the national championship. Just kind of talk about the state of your program right now and where you guys are at and what's kind of going on right now with UPike.
Yeah, been really blessed to be here for a long time. Going into I guess year 16 is what this is overall. And it's in reflection, it's crazy to see how much has changed. Just how much has changed with our program, with the level, with our community, with our campus. It's all significantly different now than what it used to be, and most of it for the better. So, super excited to continue running. This will be my 6th year as a head coach, and like you said, 3 straight national tournament games, appearances, and have won games in 2 of those 3, and have had some really good years coming off a conference championship. So we're excited to see what the 25-26 season has for us.
Before we start talking about this upcoming season, for anybody who hasn't, if they're local and they haven't seen you all play, what kind of style can they expect to come out and see you guys play? I mean, to me, I always think it's a fun style. You get up and down, you get after it on defense. Offensively, you guys like to put up points. Just kind of talk about, the style of play you guys like to play and how fun it is to be able to coach a pretty aggressive style, I think, overall.
Yeah, and it changes a little bit just with your personnel year to year. We've been lucky to have a lot of the same key contributors for the last few years. So, right now we're playing, we're solid defensively. We're not taking too many chances and trying not to beat ourselves on that end of the floor. But offensively, we want to take off and we want to be able to get the earliest, best shot that we can. And, we were top 15 in the country in offensive efficiency. We're led the league in 3-point field goals made, top 20 in the country, I think, in total 3-point field goals made. So we're getting out, we're shooting it, we're spreading the floor. We're trying to play with good tempo, trying to play with good pace, and really just trying to take what the defense gives us more than anything. But we're always going to be aggressive offensively. We're always going to have really skilled players and a lot of versatile players and a lot of guys that can beat you in a lot of different ways. And, offensively, I think as a head coach, I'm probably a little more offensively minded, offensively geared. And I think that was what Coach Wells was when he was here as well. And, my staff picks me up on the defensive end a little bit, but I certainly tend to favor the offensive side of the floor for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun style to watch for anybody who hasn't seen them. But also before we get into this upcoming season, conference champs last year in the regular season, just talk about how proud you was of your guys. That got you that automatic mid. I mean, that's always a goal for you guys. Just talk about how cool that was winning that regular season conference title.
Yeah, we knew just going through COVID when I first got the job, it was the COVID season. We knew if we got some regular, some just, I guess, just some consistency in the way that we were able to approach each season, that we thought we'd be able to put ourselves in a good position. And really last year was the first year that we had back-to-back years that were very similar. And we finished a game back of the regular season championship, our first year in the AAC, and won last year by 2 games. And it was a great race. The top of our league is really, really good. And our guys dug in and got what they had to do down the stretch. And, I think our experiences from the year before certainly paid dividends last season as we're coming down the stretch, knowing what it's going to take, knowing, what kind of commitment and just what kind of focus that it takes when you're in a conference championship race. You're playing teams that are also competing for that championship. Our last regular season game was the game that decided the conference. If we had lost, Columbia International would have won, and if we we beat them, then we take it. And so there's a lot on the line, and just having guys that have been in that moment and understand the importance of every little detail in those moments was crucial. And I thought we showed some real growth in just the way we approached it this year as to the way we approached it the year before.
Yeah, and I think, we're talking about last year going into this year. a lot of guys returning, a lot of guys even last year that you already had in the starting lineup you could rely on. How big is that for you guys? That I know there's always a turnover for you guys, but having that core 2, 3, 4 guys that from one year to the next what you can rely on going into the upcoming season. And because coming up this year, you got Key and Bradley, who probably will be 4-year starters, 3-year starters going into to this season.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's something that we really sat out to try to get a few years ago when we took a little bit of a heavier high school recruiting class than maybe we have in a long time. And those guys have had a ton of experience at this point, had great careers, and you hope that they can duplicate the production or grow on the production. But more than anything, it's just a level of comfort with the approach and just the process and what comes with that. And we return based off of minutes. We return 6 of our top 7 guys from last year's team and 10 guys overall from last year's team. And we feel really good about it. We feel really good about the experiences that the guys have had. And then we also feel that their experiences in the past have set them up to take another jump. And that's what you're always looking for, is to see what is going to be next for those guys as we move through the off season. And we certainly don't feel like any of our guys have maxed out. We feel like they all have room to grow and still have some capacity to grow. And we're excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah. And, coming into this season, speaking of Kean Warwicks and Bradley Bunch, that's going to be your 2 of your leaders. Just talk about those guys being leaders of your team, but also having guys return around them. So there's already a comfort level between your top, 4 to 6 guys.
Sure. Yeah. We got, four guys started every game for us that returned last year. And the only one we lost was Cade Looney, who started the 5 for us, but the other 4 return. And, Kean is, folks around here certainly are no stranger to Kean, like just his infectious personality and the way that he can dictate just the emotional side of a game and the emotional side of practice, without doing anything playing wise. We tell him all the time, he's our emotional leader. And, it's no secret that we have our best days and our best moments when he's having a great day and he's able to be uplifting and really get that engine going emotionally and with energy and that kind of thing. And the days that he's having a bad day, an off day, which happen, like it's just part of it. We tend to have to find some secondary juice there somewhere. And Keenan Cutlip steps up in that role. Those guys really are our energy and effort leaders, each and every day. And, Bradley is, returning player of the year in the conference and second team All-American. And, he's a guy that his production just commands respect, and he's a easygoing guy, a guy that all of his teammates love. And he's a guy that shows up and works hard every day. But, he's proven himself production wise and just from an ability standpoint that he just commands a certain kind of respect from his teammates and from his opponents. And there's just an aura, I guess, that kind of comes with that a little bit. And when you get all those guys clicking together, it can be really special.
Yeah. I think just talk about the versatility of Bradley's game, because like you said, he can score, he can rebound, he can play defense. He can do a little bit of all. And, sometimes he's a quiet guy. It seems like, not being around him a whole lot, but seems like he's a quiet guy. Just kind of talk about, he's a different kind of leader than Kean is. Kean is, you'll see Kean getting the crowd fired up. Bradley's going to go do his game, and he might not get anybody fired up, but the guys around it see it. Just kind of talk about the difference.
Yeah, Bradley is not a vocal leader. Kean certainly takes more of that role. Keenan takes more of that role. But Bradley is certainly one of our most competitive guys. And, when the lights come on, we know exactly what we're going to get from him, or his teammates know what we're going to get from him. And when there's a big basket to be made or a big rebound that we need to get, or a defensive assignment that we need somebody just to dig their heels in and be able to get it done, we can rely on Bradley. We know that his competitive juices flow just as strong as anybody's, and he's a gamer. He's going to show up on game night, and that he's going to give you everything that he's got. He's been very durable. He's extremely consistent given the amount of attention that he gets. And he's a guy that does a lot, doesn't have the ball for extended periods of time in his hands, but is still able to find a lot of production. And a lot of that comes from his teammates being able to set him up and being able to put him in a position to not have to do a ton on his own. But he to have the statistics that Bradley has and to have had the career so far that Bradley's had, he's unbelievably unselfish and makes it really easy to play through in situations like that. And when you have a pass first guy like Kean with him too, the ball moves, and that's part of the reason that our offensive efficiency has been what it is. Is just we've got a group of guys that have really bought into that ball moving and just again taking what the defense gives us. And it may not be your night every night, it may be somebody else's night, but as long as we can find that early and get it going and get hot, we've got a group that is willing to pass the buck and be happy for somebody else's success too. And Bradley, with the accolades, he's certainly no different. He'll do the same.
Yeah, and before we really start breaking down this year's roster, I thought Cutlip took a big step last year.
Sure.
Just talk about his game and the potential to take another step, because that's what you want to see every year, is some kind of improvement. And I thought last year he was a huge improvement and a big reason for some of the success.
Sure, no question. Keenan, we had 3 all-conference players: Bradley, Kean, and then LaSawn Walker. L.A. Walker was an all-conference guy for us too. And I thought that Keenan got robbed from that. I thought that his statistical production, the jump that he made, the impact that he had on our program, certainly in conference play, I thought warranted that kind of recognition. And just the growth, as you talked about, in him from the time he got here as a freshman till now. His sophomore year, the second semester, he shot over 40% from 3, and we hope that he could carry that over and be an elite shooter and a consistent shooter. And he certainly did. He came out, he shot the ball really, really well for us again offensively. And a lot of times when we needed a tough, just put your head down, go get a basket, Bradley's not open, Bradley can't get it done, who are we going to go to? Keenan was able to just kind of put his head down, get in there and get a basket at the rim or hit a big shot from 3. And, the biggest thing I think that's changed with Keenan, and it's a thing that all high school kids have to deal with a little bit, is you have a vision when you come to college of what it's going to look like and how it's going to work. And I think Keenan had a vision of it looking a certain type of way, his success looking a certain type of way. And it didn't happen for him initially that way, but slowly but surely he learned that with more minutes and more opportunity, it doesn't have to look the way you drew it up. It just matters whether you can get it done and find opportunity and get the opportunity. And he certainly bought into that hook, line, and sinker. He doesn't care how he gets it or what he's got to do to get it. He just does what we need to get him to do and to get it done. And defensively, we put him on the toughest wing guard assignment almost every night. And again, Bradley and Kean made the all defensive team in the league. And I think Keenan probably deserves some looks for that as well, just because of the magnitude of the matchup that he faced each and every night. There was a lot of times that maybe the leading scorer ended up having a decent game, but you knew that Keenan was going to make him work for it every single time down the floor. And he's just a guy that keeps coming back, and energy is contagious and effort is contagious with him. And, he's as much responsible for our energy and effort on a daily basis as anybody, and is a consistent everyday kind of guy that we know is going to give us his best and going to leave it on the line for us every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a lot about some of the returners, but kind of talk about some of the newcomers that you're bringing in this year. I know you probably only had a limited amount you were bringing in, but just kind of talk about some of these newcomers, but maybe even a returner here or there who might take a jump and to take on a bigger role next year.
Yeah, and as far as our returners go, Jalen Rigdon, Pike Central product, was a kid that was in our rotation last year, played 14 or 15 minutes a game, and really had some big games. Put up a 20-something point game in the league against KCU, and really started to come into his own and get more comfortable as the season went along. And we expect a big jump from him. I think just again, his level of comfort coming into his second year versus just all the unknown as a freshman. And, we really expect his maturity to be able to take him to another level as he moves forward too. we had two freshmen that we ended up redshirting last year. Jace Copley out of Lucasville, Ohio, and Zion Blevins from Chapmanville, who tried to hit the freshman wall when they got here. You know, they had to figure out what their new lane was going to be and how to find success. And I think both of those guys really developed physically throughout the year. I thought that both of those guys worked themselves to a place of being able to help us probably down the stretch in the last 7, 8, 9 games of the year. But at that point in time, you know, we'd already kind of thought about the redshirt opportunity and how much they were going to be able to play, and do we want to burn that redshirt year or not. We just opted to keep them out and keep that redshirt intact. But I think both of those guys were at a place where they could certainly help us win and contribute to winning down the stretch. We expect big impacts out of those guys too. And then the new guys, you know, we've got, you know, Tyler Best is another kid that played a lot for us last year, had a great junior college career in just one season up in North Dakota, but shot the ball really well in junior college. Was an elite shooter on a daily basis for us, but just had a rough start. So his statistics really didn't match what we felt like his capability was because of the rough start early. And we expect him to take another huge jump too, just being more comfortable, being in a new situation, a new setting. He's an elite level shooter, and I think he'll come out and he'll prove that. 6'6", you know, gives us even more versatility and length on the wing and can guard inside when he needs to as well. But the new guys, you know, we signed 4 guys. Riley Salmon's probably being the most prominent locally here, coming back from Tennessee Tech. He's been working out a ton with us this summer and looks really good, and we're super excited about him. I think he's equally as excited about the opportunity to come home and play in front of his family and friends more than anything, but just to get more opportunity on the court and be able to just get the reward from the work that he's feel like he's put in all this time. And we also signed Robbie Todd, who's a transfer from EKU. His father is Greg Todd, the head coach for the women's team at EKU. He's a Kentucky kid and a kid that we recruited and watched a little bit in high school. And we really think that he's got an opportunity to be a special player and has really changed his game since he's been at EKU to become more versatile. But again, that's another kid that's really excited about having the opportunity to get on the floor and kind of prove what he's able to do, and hasn't necessarily been able to do that at the Division I level. And junior college transfer from out in Colorado, originally from New Zealand, Justin Sapoy. He's a big kid. He's 6'11", 260, a little bit older, 23 years old. Moves well, not a slow plotter. Like, he's able to move his feet a little bit. Gives us some real strength and an anchor inside a little bit that we haven't had in the past. And then Peyton Bird is a incoming sophomore that played a considerable amount, you know, averaged 3 or 4 points a game last year at Indiana Wesleyan as a true freshman. Had a couple really, really good games. 6'7", has a 40-inch vertical, shoots it really, really well from 3. We think the potential for him is through the roof. And again, having him for 3 years, we hope that we can get him where we think we can get him to. But we have high expectations for him too. So, you know, all 4 of those guys we expect to play big time roles. And obviously we've got a lot of really good players coming back. So there's going to be some competition. There's going to be some battles on a daily basis. And we've talked to everybody about that. We talked to the new guys about that. We've talked to returners about that. And we just feel like that's what a successful program should be built on, is that competition. And those guys want to come here and get better. And there's no better way than to have to practice against elite players every day. And that's an opportunity that we feel like we found guys that are really bought into that and excited about that.
Yeah, certainly a lot of excitement around this upcoming season. I know we're still a ways away, but before the season's here, as you rolls around October, get here before you know it. I know you had, the team camps this last couple of weeks. I know you got some other camps coming up this summer. What can people expect out of y'all this summer? Camps, say if they want to get their kids to your youth camps and stuff, how can they do that?
Yeah, the team camps have been phenomenal. We had, I think, 67 teams over 7 days, and a ton of teams from the area. You know, we're able to really hone in on the Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and at times Northeast Tennessee, and give teams a unique experience. And, it gives us an opportunity to get eyes on a lot of kids, and for coaches to bring their players here to campus, for us to really have a unique experience, to be able to talk to those kids really personally, and just see how they interact even more closely with their teammates and their coaches, and in a much smaller setting is phenomenal. So that was a great experience for us. Our youth camp is June 23rd through the 25th. It's $85. It runs 8 a.m. to noon. We're going to have a lot of our guys there helping us, so it'll be exciting for the kids. And we just, we have a lot of kids from the area, from Appalachia. And I know the youth camp thing was a big deal for me when I was growing up. Just a lot of those guys that you get to see from your area that have had success, it's a big deal. You get excited, and kids get excited about that. So we're hoping that we can maybe instill some excitement in the next batch of youth coming up that look up to some of these kids that they watch play in high school and now in college here with us, and maybe inspire them to keep working at it a little bit, and see if we can't, maybe get them in orange and black one day too. So it's going to be exciting. We feel really good about it. Everybody gets a shirt. Everybody gets a ball. We'll have a bunch of different games and prizes. So 8 a.m. to noon, June 23rd through the 25th. We'll do some registration on Monday the 23rd, starting around 7:15 that morning. No pre-registration, just everybody come the morning of, and we'll get you locked in, and we'll have 3 good days of camp, hopefully.
I know the summer's getting ready to be here. You probably, after those camps, you probably take a much needed break and get ready for the season after that. Anything else you want to add that I might have missed? And I'm sure we'll have you in once the season gets closer. So
sure, no, yeah, July's a little bit slower for us. We'll do some recruiting things, but that'll have a little downtime for us, since we don't have our guys on campus all the time before we kick it back up in August. But just trying to complete our schedule and try to get everything in order for the fall. And we're super excited about the opportunity, super excited about the team that we've got, and couldn't ask for more. So we know we'll have a target on our back, but we're gonna embrace that and see if we can't go back to back.
For Tigh Compton, Randy White, this is Unwired Appalachian. We'll see you guys next week.